Good morning, everyone. It is Hannah and I'm here to show you guys some gardening today. Super exciting. I have to do some pruning. My zucchini has a little bit of the powdery mildew on it. My cucumbers dying back a little bit, and my tomatoes, as they're growing, are dying, so I just need to prune them back. I'm not the best at gardening. Like I said in our first video, I've never gardened before. This is my first year. I pretty much do things as I think they are. I do some research online. I call my mom, I talk to my grandma, things like that, where I ask for little tips. But if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I know for next year. So that's kind of how I do it. Unfortunately, it's really hot outside. I'm definitely gonna be sweating hard. Because I'm in the garden and because I grow zucchini and cucumber, they have really spiky vines. And so I have to wear long sleeve shirt, long pants, high socks, because I either get rubbed or scratched from the plants or get eaten alive by bugs in the garden. These are all the unfortunate things about living in the Midwest. Although my garden grows really well, the bugs also grow really well, and they love. So, to take care of that, I have my off spray, sunscreen, bounce dryer sheets. No one knows if they actually really work, but I try anything, so we're gonna do this. Right now, I am struggling to find my pruning shears. My husband loves to put things in new places. It's so fun when I know that it's only getting hotter the longer I take to find these pruning shears. And I'm just gonna sweat more. I love it when my husband does this. My next dilemma is this little cutie right here. She just takes my gardening gloves and put them places. Yeah, so I couldn't find, oh my God, Rocky. And then look there it is. It's like having children. I don't need them. I have kids already. My husband and my dogs. Okay, found my pruning shears finally, have my gloves. It is 81 degrees out, 72% humidity. I'm gonna show you guys kind of what I'm working with right now. I've been slacking on my pruning. I have some dead ones right here where those ones just die because they're right near the entrance to our garden, so they get stepped on. But what I was talking about with the powdery mildew and the mold is right here, so I get kind of on this leaf, and then I have some really rough leaves right here. And that mostly happens, I find, after it rains. And last week we did get a couple days of rain. It just stays wet, so I usually always have to do a pruning a couple days after a good rain. And then over here, my tomato plant is just dying a little bit, so I'm gonna prune back those leaves. I'll kind of explain to you guys how I do that when I do it. And then this zucchini plant, as you can see, is a lot larger. But this one also does have that powdery mildew on it. Something I wanna explain is zucchini, when you are pruning it back, you want to cut it as close as you can to the stem, because as you can see, a zucchini plant is hollow inside. So if you cut it in the middle and it's still connected to the stem, this is where I just cut it off. So as you can see, the hollow kind of ends. There's still a little hole, but it's not that deep. Therefore, diseases won't be able to get into it as easy. But if you cut the zucchini back halfway and you have that big long hole, bugs and disease and other bacteria that comes up from the soil can get into those holes easier, and then it ends up bringing a disease to the whole plant. I know that sometimes it is really hard, especially when your zucchini gets really big, but just do the best you can. Work your way from the end that's already produced all the way up. So as you can see, this end is producing flowers. So I don't want to cut back the leaves that are right near the flowers. I also am going to give a shout out to my really good friend Stephanie, because she's the one who told me that zucchinis needed to be pruned in the first place. So my zucchinis would be out of hand if it wasn't for her. So thanks, Stephanie. So now I'm on to my tomatoes, and as you can see, there's a lot of dead leaves. And these are really easy because you don't even need pruning scissors. You just take them off just like this, and they just pull right off. When they were small, which I'll show you guys next year, I would prune the branches that were on the bottom, because all they do is add extra weight to your tomato plant and then cause them to fall and that's why you need cages and things like that. This one doesn't have any tomato, or doesn't have any flowering, so you just pinch it back and it comes right off. You don't even need to use pruning shears necessarily when you do tomatoes. It depends on what you want. Early on, prune your tomatoes and be diligent about it, and you'll end up having a huge yield of tomatoes. So here's a better perspective of me letting my tomato plant get way out of hand. And yes, I know I should have a cage. Haters can hate on my tomatoes, but 100% organic, non-GMO, cage-free tomatoes, cruelty-free, fed well, and clearly it still produces. Now I'm on to my other zucchinis. So here's the damage I did. Quite a lot. It looks a bit bare now, but all the leaves that are gonna actually help grow the fruit. Thanks for tuning in with us today. I hope you had fun. I had a blast. If you like this video, subscribe, like it, and add the little ring-a-ding bell. Stay tuned for some new gardening videos. And our two little guys wanna say goodbye. Jinxie, say bye-bye. Rocky, say bye-bye. Kisses.